What up gamers, I'm Jason, and today on Dice & Dragons I'm going to be unboxing Project Elite, designed by Konstantinos, Kokkinis, hopefully I said that right, I feel like I might have butchered it, and Sotirios Tsantilas. Now this game is published by CMON Games in conjunction with Artipia Games and Orchestra Games. Now what is Project Elite? Well, this is a 1 to 6 player cooperative game. Now this is a real-time action game where you're going to be making frantic die rolls and decisions in real time. What has happened is that the solar system has been under attack by aliens from another galaxy. I think it is, and I'm drawing a blank, I'm going to take a quick look. Proxima Centauri. I knew Centauri was in there somewhere. So the aliens from Proxima Centauri have now arrived at Earth. Their fleet is around the moon. And what you must do as Project Elite is complete your missions in a set amount of time in order to save the day as you are Earth's last hope. Now, with that being said, one final reminder for those of you, well, not a reminder, first reminder actually, for those of you that are new to the channel. Down below in the video description, we have timestamps, as this is going to be a long unboxing. As you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different games that we're going to unbox. We've got a 5th expansion out there and a couple of other extra packs that will be unboxed as well. So use those timestamps. If you can't sit through the thing all at once, feel free to take a break and come back. Now with that being said, let's take a look at what's in all these boxes. Now let's take a look at what's in the core box for Project Elite. Now I'm very curious as to how this is all going to play. I backed the game because Julie and I enjoy Zombiecide Invader. I know it's compatible. This is also a co-op game, and it has some real-time elements which we have enjoyed in games like 5 Minute Dungeon. So we get a nice rulebook, solid layout, good feel to it, glossy like all CMON games. Now we've got a double-sided map board, as we can see. I do like the list of the components. It shows a basic setup. Also instructions for solo mode. I do like the use, and that's very typical of any CMON production, of lots of graphics to explain what you need to do. So I won't spend too much time going through this. We'll take a look at the back. We've got a quick rule summary, meaning it will be good to have this rule book near the table, or you may want to photocopy or print out this back page and laminate yourself a quick cheat sheet. Now we do have all the tokens and what looks like the board sealed in plastic. That's something that I've seen that's becoming more common. I really don't like it. I feel like this is a waste of plastic. Now we do have some damage on the boards here. Well, not the boards, but the tokens, and looks like we got lucky. So we'll take a look at that first. And what was smushed at, unfortunately, no, a little bit of damage on one of the player boards. So I will have to send CMON an email about that, but nothing that makes it unplayable, at least, just more of an annoyance. So let's take a look at the board first before we go on. Now, looks like this is a very long board. So I'll get it open, and then I will slide it across the camera so that everyone can see. It's also a rather large board. So we'll start at one corner. As you can see the top of it. You can definitely see the bottom. Pretty much a similar experience. We'll just flip it over, and I'm not going to slide it across everything. You'll see that we get a different setup and a different layout, and looks like paths for the monsters and areas that we need to protect. The board does sit well together. It's just not sitting very nicely right now as I try to open it up over the box. So here we have our characters, Gilgamesh and Kara. We've got their different abilities. Also some spots for, looks like certain tokens. We've got other components here, looks to be like health, maybe some extra targeting. We have some more characters here with Kinjay, Voker, and on the other side we have Akosha and Garrett. Some other tokens and some more what looks like health tokens. Here we've got maybe they say demolition, but looks to be different values. Maybe some other spots to add to the board for these symbols. For those of you that are not familiar with our unboxings that we do on Dice and Dragons, we always go in 100% blind. So this box is a little difficult to get out. It's not as nice as some of the other miniatures boxes that CMON has done. So we're just going to do the simple thing. I thought it would be simple anyway. Flip it upside down to try to get it out. Now, I have been thinking about how to store all of this, and this is sort of encouraging me that maybe I do not want to keep everything in this box, because this is straight up, no, honestly, the worst packaging I've gotten from CMON in terms of a game. It is absolutely ridiculous how tight this is in the box. You're trying not to damage your game box, to take out this cardboard box that is definitely just does not fit well. And this is a very frustrating experience because it's almost coming out at an angle, which is what's getting it stuck. At last, it's out. Could be because of the way I pulled it, but you can definitely say that I'm not a fan, so we'll just slide the trays out and see what we have. All right, so we've got just a set of 6-sided dice here, so we'll just take out one of them. Don't need to get them to go everywhere. So green 6-sided dice. Not quite sure how these are going to come into play. We have plastic colored rings, and these look to be like they'll fit the different survivors. So yep, well, not survivors, thinking Zombiecide here, the different characters. So we will just show that. I'll place them back. So we've got the different colors. Not quite sure what this is. We'll come back to it. Now here we have, and let's do that so we don't have any issues. Here's what would look to be some attack dice. Looks like each of them maybe has a failure or triggering the enemies. Movement, repair, recon. Time stop maybe. Not quite sure what all these symbols mean, but sure that it will all make sense once I get a chance to go over the rule book. I do like the fact that we have dice bags that are completely full. It does make it a little easier to store things, store your game. So here we also have some cubes. I'm guessing it's for tracking of different things. As we saw, those player boards can have elements that can be, they do have elements that can be punched out. So these will go with specific color players. And it's obvious that this storage space here is for the characters. So maybe I'm going to end up just keeping the trays, but getting rid of the box. So just to make things a little neater, and unlike the way some of the stuff was looking on camera, like it was coming off, we'll place things back into the box. So we'll take a look at the characters, at the minis. Plenty of detail with the miniatures. I love the fact that everyone's wearing like powered armor, mechs. That's always been a theme and a style that I've liked. Lots of detail on these minis if you're the painting type, especially this one, as you can see, with just even the actuators and things like that showing up on the character. Now, nothing feels too fragile, so if you do want to get rid of the blister packaging, that definitely is something that could be an option. Not that it's something that I recommend, but if you're like me, it might be something that you want to do. Here, let's take a look at these cards first so that we get an idea as to what we're actually looking at in terms of these miniatures. And I'm guessing we got the more standard guys below, whereas the cards that we have up here, well, not the cards, the miniatures up here are more like the boss types. So shooters, runners, biters, guessing all those are down there. Reference cards. Looks like these are just the references for each of them. We've got different things that will have different event cards. So we'll take a look at these from the back. And then boss spawn cards. So events. So speedy respawn tells you what will happen, how things will go. Put the event cards down as it's not that exciting. So boss spawn, we have all clear cards, meaning no bosses spawn. Then we get these different ones. So we have a Tharix, who looks to be guy with the horn. So this guy right here. Lots of details on the miniature. Next we have the Mind Eater. It looks like he's this guy right here. He definitely looks like he's ready to interface with my mind. And you notice the color of these bosses is similar to some of the coloring in Zombiecide, Invader, Darkside. We've got the Gut Slug, which doesn't go the same direction, but it's quite clearly a nasty, freaky monster. We've got a Dread Spit, who is this guy right here. We can tell by the thing coming out of his chest, which almost looks like a gold from Stargate. We have a Naga, a little bit more standard in terms of design and something more classic and fantasy style. We have the Ashar, who, nope, is not this one, is this guy right here. We can tell by his pistol. And he definitely reminds me of a Krogan. Like everything that I'm seeing on this card makes me think of a Krogan from Mass Effect. So a little tricky to put them back. We have the Seer Sting, which looks like a scorpion with a human face or a more intelligent face, which is fairly terrifying. Then lastly, we have the Reanimated Harrier, which is this miniature right here. So let's get these cards put back and just put it the way that it was. All clear, and the boss spawns here. We'll see what's in this little box, if it's something that's going to be kept or if it's going to go. So this is actually our timer for the game. That's pretty cool. So stop, start, fairly easy. Yep. Very cool. So we'll keep it in the box. Don't need the plastic. And lastly, we have, well, before we move to actually look at the biters and the other smaller, more numerous members of the swarm, let's see what we have for these smaller cards. As well, it looks like we have a stack of weapon cards. And this looks to be like another spot for just some of the components here. So yeah, not too bad a job with this blister packaging, which is typical of CMON. Just if you have all the content, as you're going to see with this really long unboxing, because this is for the all-in pledge. So just a reminder, down below in the video description, there are timestamps. So if you like taking a break and coming back, don't hesitate to do so. Now we've got just cards for the biters, runners, looks like different effects, and the shooters. Then we have alien tech, so alien technology, maybe things that they're using that can affect us, or potentially things that we can acquire from defeating these enemies, such as carapace armor, a recharger item, some alien DNA. We also have some weapons, like a cyclone weapon. We have a whole slew of other weapons here. Projectile gun. Firestorm looks like a flamethrower. Another flamethrower. The Judge, a giant hammer. So lots of cool stuff here. And these are all search cards on the back. So as we search, we'll be able to find maybe different attachments that'll boost things, launch packs, some different items, med kits, as well as new weapons. Now we'll place all of this stuff back in its slot. Let's return the heroes. And I took them out in order, which will make my life just a little bit easier. Let's go to putting them back. I think she was here though. Then we have our gentleman there. Well, I know this character was last and not quite. I think it was, yeah, like that. So we'll lift up. Everything is taped together. Great for shipping. Annoying during unboxings. So we'll just move that off to the side. And there isn't too much to see from this bottom part of the packaging, but we'll just take a look anyway. So here we've got what looks to be our biters. So they're all the same. We don't have multiple molds for them. Here we've got the shooters. Plenty of detail though, but once again, they're all in the same pose. Even these ones down here are the same. And then lastly, we have our runners, and that's what these guys look like. So we've gone in and we've covered all of the content in the core box of Project Elite. Now, keep it right here as I'm gonna get all of this put back away for now in this packaging. Maybe it'll get easier to use, maybe it won't. I'll find out. Still not sure how I intend to store everything. Actually, probably should have went and just, yeah, I'm gonna have to slide this out. This is definitely a little bit of a pain, but it's far easier than trying to do it the other way. Oh, see, careful there. Luckily it's cardboard, or I might have taken my miniature's head off. So as you can see when it goes in, fairly tight. So we've got everything back in the box here. And there you have it. That was the core box of Project Elite. Now keep it right here as we'll be coming back at you, starting with the next larger box, the Terran Box, and then moving through the main box expansions and then some of the exclusive content. It's going to take us a while to get through it all, but I think it'll be well worth your while. Now let's take a look at what's in the Terran Box for Project Elite. Eager to see what we've got inside. So we'll slide this part over. We do get some new cards. And I do believe that these were actually just loose in the box, so I threw them into the Terran Box. The shipping box is what I mean. So we've got new alien tech, weapons, pretty cool. Not quite sure what any of this stuff does, but we'll look at finding this this stuff a permanent home. We'll put it back in its packaging for now. We also get some new search cards. So just a new item, the Watchtower item. This packaging is definitely a pain to put things back in. So you know, I'm not going to bother. I'll probably rebox this stuff in this actual Terran Box, depending on what's available for space. Blister pack. The same thing with these boss cards. So here we've got Gorgon, Shepherd, Reanimated Crawler, the Bounty, Matriarch, Plagueling, and the Commandant. So these are some new bosses. Hopefully they're actually in this box. Like I said, I did throw a few things in. So we have some new rules and just some explanations for the new maps and how to set it up. Pretty cool. Once again, we've got everything in plastic, which really bothers me. But I am happy to have another map for this game. So let's take a quick look at the map. So it looks like we've got a destroyed town, whereas the other one is a forest leading into a base. And it is a large map, so we will just do a quick once over, let everyone get a nice taste of the map, and then we will flip this bad boy over. It's a little awkward. Apologies. You can see just really sort of the terrain that you get on the other side. And we'll fold it up, give one last look at each side. Gives you an idea as to what's in the box. Now we do get some new heroes, which is always fun. So we have Vicky. And these guys want to pop out, so you know what? Make my life a little easier. Let's just get rid of that right away. So we've got Killy, Jake, we have Robert, and here we've got Sandra. Same for these guys. They don't want to just get out of the cardboard. Here we've got Angela, Gunter, Gustav, and Anya. Now we'll see what's in the terrain box. Maybe this is a little easier to get out than the other one. Yeah, a little bit easier. Not by much though. So let's open up the box. And we'll, well, that's very nice. We actually have a bunch of storage and extra, is it extra space? Not quite extra space, but we've got some nice storage for the items here. Let's go ahead and just bring these cards once again to the forefront. If you want to see if there was anything on these little guys. Actually, you know what? Just looks like we've got some more of the biters. Just some more runners. And some more shooters. Now it does look like we've got maybe a different sculpt, at least for the shooters, so there are some slight differences. Not quite sure what these little guys are and how they're going to come into play, but I'm sure it has something to do with the new rules. These definitely look like alien egg sacs. Reminds me a lot of Alien. You've got some terrain. Pretty cool. I always like 3D terrain. So we've got the Gorgon, as we talked about. Looks to be this bad boy right here. Very cool miniature. I'm guessing this is Shepard, an alien, or this crazy mech. Not sure how he fits into the lore, but definitely a cool character. The reanimated crawler is this guy. I'm guessing that he's next. Yep, the bounty. This guy right here. The matriarch. This giant big bug with lots of detail, so should be a painter's delight. I'm guessing that these little guys show up with the matriarch. Yeah, these are the plaguelings, so I'm not quite sure how they come into play. And then lastly, we have the commandant, who is this character right here. Now we'll take a look at our hero minis. Not quite sure if I can tell them all apart from the characters. We didn't give the character names last time, so we won't this time. We'll just showcase them. I like this guy with the giant rocket fist. Very cool. Lots of detail on the mini. Another cool miniature here. One thing you can say about CMON games, they're always a painter's delight. I love this running dual-wielding character. It just looks great. I mean, all of these minis, even if you're not going to be playing all of them in Project Elite, if you are playing a sci-fi RPG, of some great character miniatures here. Or villain miniatures. I love how he's got 2 robotic arms carrying melee weapons. Very cool. Be interesting to see how all of these characters' different powers actually work in the game. This kind of reminds me of, you call him Jake, but clearly he's supposed to be Snake Plissken. That just came into my head. Another really cool character. Reminds me of Arnold in the Terminator, just a little bit. T2 that is. So this is definitely the Terran Box, but it seems almost more like a stretch goal box here, as we're getting some pretty cool new miniatures and characters. So we're going to lift up the packaging and move this off to the side. We do have a spot for a few things. Now, there are a whole whack load of expansions, so I'm sure that as I go trying to sort everything, the space is going to end up being well used, but for the moment, it works just well enough for me, and I will actually pop out tokens just to have a place to store them. Works out for the reboxing that everything will fit on top of each other nicely. We'll get the blister packs back in the cardboard. There you have it. We've unboxed the Terran Box for Project Elite. Now keep it right here, as we'll be back as we check out another expansion. Now let's take a look at what's in the Project Elite Alien Ship Rescue expansion. Now we've got some new stuff. I like the fact that this is a reusable plastic bag. Always something that I like to have. So we do have new rules for the expansion, and we'll just move that off to the side. So it looks like we just get some tiles that we're actually able to use to set up and build things, which is very different than the boards that we were using with Project Elite. So this looks to be the big map tile. Very cool. I'll put that off to the side for now. Unfortunately, this will not fit in the Terran Box. Yes, I know I called it the Terrain Box. Don't know why I thought it was a Terrain Box. This just seemed like the kind of game that should have some terrain, but yeah, go figure. And this one is really not easy to open, just because of how tight it is, and it's actual tile. So you want to be careful when you're opening this not to damage any of your components, since you don't have sort of that nice buffer that you usually get when it comes to unboxing these types of components, when they're you're opening the plastic and it's just tokens, so the outer edges aren't your actual game pieces. So pretty frustrating, actually. Should have had a tool, but I was not expecting everything to be sealed up in plastic. Definitely something that I really do not like, but you've got it open. Now, I don't remember if I flipped over the other side, so yes, these tiles are all double-sided. You'll be using them to construct the alien ship. Here we've got some new tiles. Looks like we've got maybe some civilians. Some more map tiles. We get some new cards, which I'll just put off to the side here for the moment, and we'll take a look at them as we unbox what's in here. Now, I'm probably going to actually end up trying to figure out a few ways to rebox some of the components for Project Elite, because we really just have almost too much stuff. So you'll notice we don't have any new heroes in here. So that is something to pay attention to. And I'm going to take a look at what we've got here. So just new items, med packs. We've got the new type of enemies, the flyers. We get their cards. Not sure if... no, not quite the spot for them. So let's take a look at a flyers miniature. So that's what you get. A swarm of them, 3 of them together. That character really makes me think of Infested Kerrigan, the one that we just took a quick look at. So let's take a look at the other cards that we have here. So Fawn and Worm, Cyclops. So Fawn and Worm right here. There's their miniature. Now, plenty of detail. Not sure if it's coming across on camera. It's a lot of minute stuff. So Cyclops. And he does have a little look of Cyclops from the X-Men with that visor. Almost like a mix of Cyclops and Juggernaut. So here is his character. Next we've got Sargo, who is him right here. Probably my least favorite mini, actually, not a lot of detail on him. And then we've got the Belcher miniature. After that, we've just got a bunch of all clear cards. So as you can see, not too much to unbox here, but plenty of new content. Now, what I'm going to actually do, I want to find where are the tokens, because it looks like we actually have some storage for all of this right now. So save myself a little bit of time, even though I got a piece that's trying to run away on me, of sorting a bit of these components. I'll have to get something, or I'll just mix these in with the main game afterwards, but looks like we can definitely fit those cards here. The cards on top. Lift out the blister pack. Put it into the cardboard. And there you have it. We've gone through all of the components for Project Elite, the alien ship rescue. Now we'll come back at you with another one of these. Oh, there they go. A little tricky there, didn't want to fit in. Come back at you with another one of the smaller box expansions, and then we'll come at you with some of the exclusives and other type of add-ons afterwards. So keep it right here. We'll be right back. Now let's take a look at what's in the box for the Deathmaw Valley expansion for Project Elite. Now, a little bit different packaging from the alien ship rescue. We have our cards, which we'll set to the side. Here are the new rules for Deathmaw Valley. We also get a nice list of the components. So we do have some double-sided maps. Looks like this one's going to be very different. Yes, yeah, we actually do have a map board this time. And still, we have the components at the top. There we go. We should be able to get it at the edges here. Easier to open this type of packaging when you have a nice solid map in there. Still not his biggest fan. So we've got some new tokens, biological samples, more health tokens. Not sure what these symbols are. Looks like we have a crashed ship here. This is the new board. So it's really just one setup here. As you can see, it's one long board, which is different than the other ones. We'll just flip over the back side, and yeah, we do get a different layout on the back. I'll just actually fold it up. It'll be a little easier the showcase. So this is the new game board. Now let's take a look at what we have in the expansion box here. Oh, well, I was calling the Terran Box a terrain box. This should have been the terrain box, or more likely the weapon box. So let's pull out the cards because we'll put them back in place. Let's see what we get. So it looks like we're actually going to be able to build that thing and make it this one long Death Valley guy. So you can see he's got different attacks. Then we've got different traps, thumpers, landmines, laser trips, flamethrowers. So these are all the cards to trigger and use the weapons. Now, I'm not going to assemble this dude, but we'll take a look at him in a moment. So here we have what looks like to be the flamethrowers. Here we've got the harpoon guns. Pretty cool. Landmines. The thumper, which definitely makes me think of Dune. This one here I don't remember, but it looks like a radio antenna or electrostatic thing. We've got what looks to be some blasters, triple blasters. Pretty cool. Then, of course, we have the missile launchers here. Next, let's take a look at these cards. So we've got the Deathmaw event cards. And as you can see, they're all for Deathmaw, his different segments. And then different events. So what each hero must do, there's hatched eggs. So we'll get different tasks that we must complete as well as we play through this expansion. And take a look at these different pieces. Actually, you know what? Let's do it. We'll try to assemble him. I'm hoping... Okay. Maybe that's not the way that this goes together because that's clearly the head and the end. So here's the head. So hopefully everything just sort of fits. Yeah, so it definitely does fit together. It does look like you could really push it together. I don't know if you're going to get this apart if you push it together. So I'm not going to assemble it. I'll take some pictures of it at a certain point and have that up on our social media. All these other segments are really identical, so I'm not going to take them out, but very cool. Not sure how I'm going to store this, but if it doesn't come apart easily, it's quite simple to say that the Deathmaw Valley stuff will find itself quite rapidly being stored with some more components for this game. Alright, and there you have it. This is the Deathmaw Valley expansion for Project Elite. So next we'll be coming back at you with the Rook team expansion and some of the other expansions that we have. This was an all-in pledge. For those of you that have stuck around, really appreciate it. If you want to take a break, don't forget that down below in the video description we got timestamps, easy for you to find your place. So keep it right here as I'll be right back. So now we're going to unbox the Rook Team pack as well as the Ammo pack and the Alien Allies pack. I'm going to start with these because I'm curious to see what's in them. Also, I'm curious how I'm going to want to store them. As I open this up, we've got Apollo and Leora. So interesting enough, there's definitely some room in the Terran Box for at least these two characters. So I will not be reboxing them into the box. I'll definitely figure out a way to put them into the Terran Box. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So we've got Aloria. And here we've got Apollo. Just place their cards here. Now we've got the rules for the Alien Allies are actually on cards, which is interesting. First rule set that we've seen on cards so far. So these are the new rules and these are the new combos that they're able to pull off. So very cool. And this is Aloria. I definitely like the look of her character. She reminds me a little bit of Liara from Mass Effect. And Apollo. Very cool. Sort of reminds me of Vision, though. Gotta be honest there. So that's what you get in the Alien Allies pack. Let's take a look at the ammo pack. So that's a little disappointing, just how the rules and everything was stuffed in. So we'll see what we've got. So with the ammo pack, it explains what we get with new grenade components, ammo tokens, ammo crates, and just explains how we're able to use them and these new types of weapons. So very cool. This is something that'll also end up in the Terran box, just because it definitely can fit there. So we just got the new tokens, as well as the rules, and let's take a look at what these new cards are. So for new search cards, we have explosive grenades, smoke grenades, repellent grenades. So just a whole lot of grenades. So ways to blow stuff up. Pretty cool. And now let's take a look at the Rook team box. Now, not quite sure how to get this open. I thought it would just drop out, but oh yeah, it just drops out. But now I've got it, of course, upside down. Well, we'll flip it over back to its proper side. We'll take a look at the Rook team. So we got a list of the game components, the explanations of their dashboards, because it's different than what other players have, because we've got a whole load of guys in power armor, and makes me want to play as them right away. So very cool. So we've got Zawadi, Caitlin, Nils, Jake, KG, and Lily. So we do get some new swarm spawns and new dice for them. Not sure how those dice come into play as of yet. So take a look at these cards. So these are enraged. Looks like the enemies can now become enraged because we're using the power of the Rook team. One thing I do like about these minis do look solid, so fairly good chance that, well, more than a fairly good chance that we'll get these reboxed with something else. Let's take a quick look at the dice. So we got these new dice with new logos. A little bit of a, yeah, it's got a marbled finish on them, so pretty cool. I thought they were dirty, but always fun to get more proprietary dice, even if they aren't different. I'm not 100% sure. So let's take a look at the miniatures. And yeah, power armored, wearing swords. They just look fantastic. Sure seem like they'd be a lot of fun to paint. Almost feels like you're walking in with some 40k Space Marines. Curious to see if these guys are compatible with Zombiecide Invader in the crossover pack, which we'll take a look at in not too long. But very cool, lots of detail. I'm not going to try to name all the characters because with the amount of content I've been unboxing throughout this, probably drive me a little bit crazy. So we'll take tape off, get the cards back in. And for the moment, you know what? I got the room. We're going to put the ammo pack in with the Rook team, if it all fits. And unfortunately, no, it does not. The rules do, but the tokens do not. So, you know what? We'll just leave those aside for the moment, but put everything back with the Rook team. I'm going to be reboxing and reorganizing this anyway. So there you have it. You've taken a look at the Rook team, the ammo pack, and the Alien Allies. Now keep it right here, as we're going to start coming back at you with some of the extras, as well as the Invader crossover pack. Now let's take a look at the extras for the Rook team, the Alien Ship Rescue, and the Deathmaw Valley extra. We'll start with the Rook team extras. Now I'm probably going to not rebox all of this stuff. as everything should be able to fit most likely in another box. So what did we get with the Rook team? We got a new character, Castillo. Here's his miniature right there. Very cool. Like the look of him. So we're just going to set him down right here. We'll move this stuff off to the side. Take a look at the alien ship rescue extras. Oh, so that's pretty cool. I like the look of the hero. Move that off. So this is the Contagion campaign. So it gives us the boss figure, 2 new hero figures. We've got Dante and Sarah. Now we've got some new rules. Looks like it's just 3 different encounters. Take a look at Dante. I like any character with a sword and a gun. Right up my alley. And there's Sarah. Reminds me a little bit of a Samus. We've got the boss figure who is the Devourer. Nasty looking creature. So this is his boss spawn card. So I think we're going to try to store this stuff as well in the Terran Box. And here we got a whole bunch of new weapons that we'll be able to use. And the last extra that we'll be unboxing, the Deathmaw Valley extras. We get a few new components. This is one more than what we had with the alien ship. We've got Mizzy and Ronan. Very cool. Like to look at these 2 characters. Make sure everything stays on camera. So here we've got Mizzy. She's not the most detailed, but then you look at Ronan, who's just got a ton of detail. If you're playing a futuristic sniper in a campaign game, well, not a campaign game, an RPG, he might be the miniature that you're looking for. Let's take a look at the cards that we've got here. So we have the Arachne, a new rule for the Deathmaw segment, his Stinger Tail, and the rules for how to play with the Stinger Tail. So there's the Arachne. Definitely looks like something straight out of Starship Troopers. And it's trying to attack Mizzy. And then here is the Stinger Tail component. Now, really hoping that stuff is easy to disconnect because not sure how I'll play with this otherwise. And we'll just toss that because all of these components are going to find a new home. And there you have it. We've taken a look at basically all of the extras that come with Project Elite. So now, well, the Kickstarter extras. Now we're going to move on to the Invader crossover pack, and then I'll be coming back at you with a quick outro. Now let's take a look at the Zombiecide Invader crossover pack for Project Elite, the last of our components. So we've got a whole slew of stuff, and we just have a nice list here of all of the different components. As you can see, we've got cards for both. Let's start with these ones here. So these are all the cards that you need to play. Yeah, all of the different heroes. Well, you've got the Rook team, and it looks like the heroes from the core game will be able to cross over into Zombicide Invader, which is cool. I like the idea of the Rook team. Kind of fits with the theme of some of the military characters. Find a nice place to store those with the other Zombicide Invader things that we have. Here we've got just some stats to add in, some of the different abominations and the enemies from Zombicide Invader into Project Elite. we'll just leave that aside. Not enough cards. Let's see what we've got here in the small deck. So we do get instructions on how to use the Peacekeeper and the falchion gun. Then the other things we have here are for Zombiecide Invader, how to use these different enemies in the game, as well as the spawning cards for the the spawning cards for the Zombiecide Invader enemies in Project Elite. Then lastly, we've got all of these characters, and I'm going to punch this all out right now. So as you can see, we got Fiona and Ja from Black Ops. We've got Mitski and Baraka from the main Invader game. So it's looking like the only characters that we have for a crossover are the ones from Black Ops and the ones from Invader. So it looks like really just the ones that aren't Kickstarter exclusive. So Solomon, Andre, Magnus, Cole. Then we've got Jared and Vivian from the main game. And of course, we have Kyle and Maria from Black Ops to round out all the characters that we have for this crossover pack. And there you have it. We've now fully unboxed Project Elite, and I'm now coming at you with a quick outro. If you watched the whole video in one go, you're a champion. Thanks for staying with me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you like what you saw, don't forget to click the like button, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when our next video is released. Also, down below in the video description, you'll find links to all of our social media feeds: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You want to see pictures of Julie and I playing Project Elite? Well, we'll have all of those up there. Now, popping up in front of this wall of games, you will see a link to our most recently released video. You'll see a link that will take you back to Zombiecide Invader for the moment. And then once it is out, our review and how to play of Project Elite. Now, don't forget, keep playing games.